Pickacard. How to inspire others. Here are your options, and I'll see you at your reading. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, how do you inspire others? You chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen. And your downloads go as follows. I'm laughing because your download is literally a song, and yeah. But what I heard in my mind was Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. In particular, it was all I ever wanted, all I ever needed is here in my arms. Words are very unnecessary. They can only do harm. So, if you want to know a little bit more about that song, go ahead and look up the lyrics yourself. But it's really interesting to me. Words like violence break the silence. So I'm incredibly interested. And plus, out of all 3 images, this was my favorite. So I'm excited to see what comes out. Without further ado, pile number 1. We're going to go ahead and do the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Pile number 1, thank you for being here. Even if you're just showing up to be looky-loo, no worries. Hopefully everybody is doing super fine. Pile number 1, how to inspire others. So I thought this was going to be a quick little read, but I never seem to do anything quickly, as y'all know. Pile number 1, you have the 8 of Michael. You have the Queen of Michael. Interesting. And my chair is so noisy. Oh my goodness. Pile number 1, you have peace. Yep. Okay. So let's get centered here. Pile number 1, the first thing that I want to bring to attention, the first thing that I'm noticing is right here. First of all, everything's about Michael. So I don't know if your name is Michael. This could be about a Michael. I don't know. Or you could be inspiring a Michael, right? But with the 8 of Michaels, this is all about like super intelligent, brilliant, self-reliant, insightful, even humorous. So you can be free, make a courageous choice to change your situation. I feel like you inspire people by getting out of their heads, because with the 8 of Swords, typically we're all tied up and bound in our brains. Pile number 1, I feel like you really teach people by example, and not even by like, let me teach you a lesson kind of a thing, or let me school you. That it is always best to use your intellect to get out of a problem. If you need to go ahead and step back. But I feel like you are incredibly efficient, incredibly skillful at this. A master is what I'm hearing. And I don't feel like you're doing this or have done this in order to, again, just set out to inspire anyone else. I simply feel like what I'm hearing in my mind, by the way, is the word mousetrap. It used to be a game way back when I was a kid. So maybe perhaps you got yourself out of the mousetrap, which was some form of entanglement within the mind. And I feel like this is served to really impress and inspire people around you. Now, the next I have right here is peace. Archangel Azrael. Release the past. There is more enriching future coming. Griselle can read. There's a more enriching future coming. Let it go and let God. So pile number 1, with the number 13, this indicates endings to me, right? The number 13, I affiliate that with the traditional tarot with the death card. And I'm just going to say that it could be that you put a lot of endings in place in order to really advance and move forward. It could be also that you have looked at things in a logical way in order to really get unstuck. And I feel like you've gained a lot of fans, okay? This is what I'm hearing is all of these are fans, these flowers. So you've gained a lot of fans by really tuning into a higher perspective, taking the peaceful method out. Perhaps even being a peaceful warrior. And so we really admire this about you. Pile number 1, how do you inspire others? We're going to find out a little bit more. But before I forget, if you could please like, share, comment, and subscribe if this rings a bell with you. Speaking of bells, turn on that notification bell so that you can get further notifications of when I do drop more videos. Pile number 1, how do you inspire others? 3 of Swords. You have survived a lot. Perhaps you have even written the book or written a book or have a book in you. With the 3 Swords, this really talks to me about experiencing like ultimate betrayals, ultimate heartache, heartbreak, things like that. And I feel like through these experiences, maybe perhaps you got caught up in your head. Maybe you were somebody that you ruminated over things, but I feel like you've overcome this tendency to get caught up in your head. I also feel like you are looking at things with different eyes. Maybe this panda's wearing contacts, no longer eyewear, no longer eyeglasses. I don't know. But something about the way that you view things has definitely shifted. And I feel like that has put you in a better boat, right? You're in a better boat. You're in a better situation to where you can actually see what is flowing for you and what is really serving to elevate you, what is giving you comfort. Also, I feel a sense of cooperation, even though the 2 of Pentacles is more like juggling. I feel like this is more cooperation. I feel like you're cooperating with spirit, collaborating with spirit, and maybe perhaps even that means that you are juggling like your past views as opposed to your current views on pretty much any matter that gets you all up in your brain. So pile number 1, you have the Ace of Cups and the Hierophant. I just want to get closer. These are my favorite cards of all the land. I keep saying I have like all these decks that I just really love intently, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the decks as well, because if you can't tell, I am super passionate about my tarot decks, oracle decks, whatever you want to call them, all of them. But pile number 1, you inspire others because I feel like you give emotionally, like freely. You give all, not like all who comes gets served. But I want to say that like mental, emotional, spiritual, you have a lot of richness to give, a lot of exuberance. I feel like at times you could appear very effervescent, but only if people catch you in the right climate, meaning that it's something that you are excited about, passionate about, such as like when I perked up and started talking about my deck cards, whatever you want to call them. But pile number 1, the way that you really inspire others is that in spite of what a dark place you have been or where you come from or a dark place that you currently can be at, you always find a way to effervesce, to stand out from the rest, to really have something like a holy grail, something beautiful to hold on to, but also something to share, right? With the Ace of Cups, it is a new beginning. But it's also something that we're looking for in other people to magnetize ourselves to them. And I feel like people are really inspired by this because you're not looking at, oh my gosh, this is so dark and dreary and I don't see the light. And maybe there's some light right here, but how do I get out of it? And instead with this picture, you're really focused on all of the little lightning bugs that are around you and how beautiful that cup looks. So I really appreciate that about you. With the Hierophant right here, this is connection to those that are on the other side. This could be your higher power, spirituality, spirit itself, your higher self, whatever it is that you think on. But with the Hierophant, this tells me that you have a commitment to connecting with those that are above you, with whether they're beings or spirit or, I don't know, religion, spirituality again. But whatever it is, your ancestors also are being referenced right here. And the way that you really inspire other people is how excited that you get maybe in being close to spirit, close to your ancestors, close to whatever it is that gives you joy, because the Hierophant is also dedication. The Hierophant is also commitment, but usually it's a commitment to a higher state. And it's also somebody is privy to higher knowledge. So you could be a teacher, a scholar, but also a student. Now, pile number 1, another thing that really inspires others about you, I'm looking at the rats right here because you would think, oh, you know, if it were me, I'd be like, oh, teacher, you have these rats. Let me get rid of them for you, right? But I feel like teacher is just completely happy with whomever is drawn to the light. Teacher's completely I don't know, just like in the zone and relishing, and teachers thinking, well, if the rats want to listen, who am I to like prevent that? Who am I to say no? If they want to listen, let them listen. And I feel like you could have many different characters at your feet, metaphorically, right? Who are listening to what you have to say, who are really drawn into your light, right? And we really appreciate that about you. We appreciate that you kind of close your eyes to like the exterior. I feel like teacher right here isn't worried about what they look like on the exterior if they're coming in the form of a rat. But teacher is really focused on the spirit of these little beings here. And similarly, I feel like you don't really concern yourself with what people have, like monetarily or what they look like, etc. You're really focused on the heart of the matter and the vibration of the person, because that's how we recognize one another. And that is incredibly inspiring, because I also feel like other people would think, wow, you know, I would not be caught dead around, you know, that situation, or I would not be caught dead in this cave trying to take selfies or whatever. But you have a really different mindset, and I really love this about you. I love how this is just like really dirt, nothing, and we get to sit here and we get to listen to teacher. And maybe even teacher isn't really even expressing anything. It's just being around you, being in your light. There's something very healing, very nurturing, very elevating, and very loving about you. And I feel like people are drawn to you. Animals are drawn to you. Pile number one, insects are drawn to you. I've told this story before, but when I first moved out here, I had these meat bees that were all over me. Like, I don't know, like I was the biggest chunk of meat walking around, and they just loved me. And I was freaked out because I couldn't be outside for more than like 5 minutes without them literally being all over me. And one of my friends was like thinking, you know, gee, you're kind of exaggerating, whatever. And I'm like, no. I'd be out with her, and no sooner, 3 to 5 minutes, literally. And these bees, these meat bees, the mean ones would come towards me, and I would have to leave. I'm like, there's no way I can hang out outside. But I feel like you have that vibration as well. I do feel like your vibration is shifting a little bit as well. It's being refined. And I feel like maybe even you could have a little bit of a mastery with that as well. So I do on this channel talk a little bit more about like synchronistic values and, oh my gosh, that other thing, harmonics. What is that? Okay, I talk about it, but I can't even think of the word right now. Well, anyways, it's basically everything is vibration, and it'll probably come to me when I edit, maybe not. But I feel like you vibrationally feel out and suss out what is around you. And even those that like have no good intent towards you feel really inspired. Pile number one, I feel like also with the number 5 being referenced right here, this is all about change. So you inspire other people by all the changes that you made. It seems like you've changed them. You made them effortlessly. It seems like you were not able to get counsel on how to make these changes. Sorry, I'm like trying to hiccup at the same time as talk. But also I feel like you had to really go within, deep within, in order to get the information that allowed you to make your moves. And pile number one, I really love this for you, because I feel like you're teaching people that we don't have to like have anything like massive to create big changes in our life. And I feel also that people are very comfortable around you because you come from a place of love and non-judgment. And I think that's so cool. It's also cool when your camera cooperates. Nudge, nudge. Hey. Pile number one, we have the Judgment card with the 6 of Swords. Yeah, let's get a little bit closer here. And pile number one with the Judgment card, look at all the little insects attracted to you, all the messages with these little like feathers as quills. I feel like you're in your play era currently, and we love this about you. We love this for you. I feel like also this play is actually acquiring you a lot more abundance. It's helping heal parts of you that perhaps were not healed from long ago. If you had a rough childhood, if you had so much responsibility that you felt crushed and repressed, perhaps this is a time where you are playing with energy, with harmonics, with I don't know, patterns, and with different ideas, and you're just really kind of allowing for spirit to show you what is really out there. And this really serves to really inspire other people, because it's like, I don't feel like you take yourself super seriously. You're really enjoying the moment. You're enjoying the colors. You're enjoying the color bleeding into other colors and creating a third color. So we love this for you. And also pile number 1, the 6 of Swords indicates an ability to make moves, to move on, to go on to still waters, calm waters, waters that basically are not going to cause you drama and trauma. Pile number 1, you could have moved a lot. You could have moved a lot from situations where it caused you like radical issues with, I don't know, I'm hearing controversy, but also making you feel not great in your spirit. And I feel like those situations you've moved from, and this could be friends, families, girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever the case is, right? And so people are really, really inspired by how you choose peace over anything else. And how, when it comes down to it, you're going to choose you over anything else. If that's how we have to do, then that's how we have to do. Pile number 1, that is all I have for you. I hope that this helped. If it did, do let me know in the comments below. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, friends. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2, you chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen. And lucky for you, I did not get a song. So pile number 2, what I downloaded for you is adventure, newness, relocation, good with technology, an adventurous spirit. So that's what I have for you as far as downloads go. We're going to go ahead and do the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, welcome, pile number 2. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate all of you guys. Pile number 2, how do you inspire others? Pile number 2, you have the Ace of Michael. You have the 5 of Ariel. You have the 6 of Michael. And you have solutions. I don't remember this card. So pile number 2, right off the bat, the one thing that I will say that just stood out right away to me is that we have a lot of Michaels again. So you might be coming from pile number 1, but not necessarily. Now, pile number 2, I'm just looking at the Ace of Michael right here and how this angel is just putting out his arms with his sword, of course. And he seems to be pointing to the past. I feel like there's been a lot of turbulence, a lot of you feeling left out, a lot of you feeling not, almost like you didn't have a cohesive group or cohesive family or a sense of belonging. You could have been feeling like you were all on your own. Even if you did have a family, you would be like the black sheep or the ugly duckling, or that's at least how you would have felt back then. And I feel like this is where you are coming from. So maybe perhaps you were frozen out because you were different. Perhaps some of you guys had like a learning disability, or you were of a different, you know, I don't know, you were from a blended family, or you had like step parents, or you looked physically different from your other siblings. Something about you was incredibly different from the get-go. And I feel like this really served to create a lot of turbulence in your heart. And I'm just going to apologize for that because I feel that, okay? I didn't grow up with any siblings, but it was just as well. But I could definitely feel that pain. I'm actually having like a heart chakra pain right now when I'm actually channeling. So pile number 2, I just want to tell you that Spirit acknowledges that all of this was painful, but that you pulled through. And I feel, pile number 2, that right now you are being elevated, that at last your ships have come in, and no longer will you be feeling this sense of isolation. And good for you, that even though you felt alone and maybe even abandoned, that you were not alone after all. Pile number 2, we have solutions. Success comes from objective compromise, self-control, and patience, forgiving and healing energy. Then we have the Six of Michael with it's a light at the end of the tunnel. Breathe a sigh of relief and make new plans, relocation or travel. So I'm going to say once again that you've moved on, but also the most important part that I'm feeling for you, pile number 2, is that you moved on from a paradigm that you were taught, like you stand here, look at the world this way, and that is it. That's what it is, babe. Chin up, 10 toes down, boots to the ground, whatever you want to call it. This is what it is, and you got to make the best of it, and you got to like it. But I feel pile number 2 that you at last have stepped away from that paradigm, and you've checked out others, and you've kind of, because that to me is a paradigm shift. You stand in one place and you're like, well, this is what I see, but if I move here, I see more of this tree and less than that, and so on and so forth. And I feel like your perspective has radically shifted. And the way that you really inspire people, how you inspire others, is your paradigm shift. Your ability to look at things from a different way, from a spiritual way, even perhaps more of a diplomatic way. And within those paradigm shifts that you've experienced, I feel like you've come with, I feel like a heart full of forgiveness, and it's been hard earned, and it's been tough to do as well. I don't feel like it was anything easy that came to you necessarily. But pile number 2, I feel like you've been blessed with incredible perception, that you also inspire others by realizing that in order to forgive other people, you don't necessarily have to accept them back. And you don't have to accept their bad behavior and their bad influence or whatever it was that wasn't driving with you. Keep in mind, pile number 2, that I optimistically read for the masses here. So I just wanted to put that out there just to let you know that, everybody's situation is different. Take what fits and leave the rest for someone else. Now, pile number 2 with the Ace of Michaels right here, a wonderful new idea. Don't allow bumps in the road to hinder your progress. Clear up communication problems with others. So I feel like that's what this is, clearing up communication problems, and maybe even perhaps communicating that once upon a time you felt isolated, you felt abandoned, you felt different, you felt treated different. Maybe perhaps you didn't have the same opportunities as people around you did, and it just felt pretty awful. So you need to go through your current challenges alone. Help is nearby. Negative thoughts create self-fulfilling prophecies. Yeah. And I feel like you have undergone this paradigm shift to where you pulled yourself out of this like negative self-talk. Now, pile number 2, we're not perfect. We're human, and we're still going to have these like recurring patterns that want to creep back into our lives, no matter how much work we've done on ourselves. And I'm just going to say pile number 2, that you inspire other people because you keep picking yourself up, that regardless of how many times you fall or that things don't work out or whatever, you have resilience, you have determination, and you have perspective. But now, most of all, pile number 2 is you have help. Things are starting to feel easier for you in life, and we love this for you. Pile number 2, if you're liking these kind of readings, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Click that notification bell so that you can see further readings from yours truly if you're interested and if you resonate. Pile number 2, how do you inspire others? 5 of Cups by the 5 of Pentacles. So you've experienced mourning and heartache and heartbreak. You've had a lot of losses that you have mourned. And I feel like people can relate to you. And they've seen you. Oh my gosh, look at this. Now, let me tell you why I got super excited about this outside of these being phenomenal cards, okay? But I'm going to say with the 5 of Cups right here, you were mourning something that was... it was loss. And usually we mourn the 3 of Cups. And that's why I'm like, oh, sink. But that is something different. So I feel like people have seen you undergo a time or a challenge or a period of time in your life where maybe perhaps you experienced losses and things weren't feeling very good. And they were privy to like how you felt about things, how you mourned the good times, the celebratory times, the times when everything seemed to be going well, that you were open and other people were celebrating with you. This could be happy hours, get-togethers, having meals together, whatever. And you mourned those times because they are long gone. What you didn't see are the 2 of Cups behind you. And this is not a traditional tarot card, obviously. But I'm going to say that, you know, this person was forced, and maybe perhaps as you were forced to look at the Two of Cups that you had in front of you. So I feel like you have done also that paradigm shift where you're looking at the cup as, you know, half full versus half empty. So what if 3 of them spilled? You still have 2 and you're like, wow, I have 2 cups. This is pretty darn cool. And with the Two of Cups, I feel like it's drawing you closer to people that you have this like spiritual connection with. You could definitely be coming from pile number 1 with the Ace of Cups in pile number 1, because you have each a holy grail, a cup to offer another. And I feel like vibrationally you're attracting your own people. And I feel also pile number 2, that this is inspiring other people, because everyone undergoes different losses at different times in their life, different chapters. And maybe perhaps yours, you've been more vocal, or it's been done more publicly, or whatever. But the beautiful part about this narrative, pile number 2, is look what you have right here. And I feel like this is current. What's happening now or in the immediate future, the 3 of Cups, where you are actually celebrating. There is room to dance. You are in a beautiful establishment. And look at all of this, like, I'm going to say it's like wet ground. I want to say, girls, don't slip. Don't be falling on this beautiful ground in this holy place, whatever this place is. And I'm looking at this as like maybe a waterfall, or I don't know, rain coming in. It's just incredibly beautiful. And I almost feel like this is like a discovery of something ancient, something beautiful. So I feel pile number 2, that you are inspiring other people by really enjoying the moment, by enjoying the wind in your hair, by enjoying the rain in your hair, by looking at the elements and really, I don't know, becoming like one with the elements, by looking at nature, Mother Nature, and learning lessons from them as well. And really celebrating the small stuff, enjoying that you can actually see your shadow and how it looks so different on the ground when the water hits it. And enjoying the blend of colors and the variations thereof. Pile number 2, I just really feel like you are really enjoying life, like the sensations, almost like you're a solar plexus, nope, Crystal, the other one, sacral, yep, sacral chakra, hello, and we're back. So your sacral chakra, I feel like, is popping right here with all these orange colors. I feel like you have the ability to really enjoy life after a lot of strife, after a lot of demise, after a lot of lack. I feel like you've learned to really revel and take joy in what you currently have, and not always look out for something else or something more, just enjoying the moment, whatever that moment means to you. Now, pile number 2, you could have had a relocation, a geographical relocation, certainly a mental relocation. And I'm also here to say that even with these, I don't know, they look like billows or kites or something tethered energetically to this, that the whole time that you've been navigating your stormy world, it's incredibly inspiring, because Spirit has actually been at the helm to really navigate and direct you. That you've taken chances that other people are like, what the heck are you thinking, pile number 2? And yet it's worked out to be the very thing that you needed, the very thing that was a perfect match for you. And we love that for you. Check out all the 5s here. Oh my goodness. Pile number 2. Are we feisty? We have the 5 of Wands right here. How do you inspire others? Is that, you know what, you're able to stand up to your abominable snowman and fight. You're able to just take any figure, whether it's like metaphoric or energetic, and you're like, you know what, I'm here to fight. I guess I don't want to fight, but if we got to fight, I bring it on. Bring it on. I'm going to open up this can of whip bleep in order to fight with you. Now, you definitely have a feistiness, a fearlessness, a self-confidence that is confident, not necessarily, I feel like, in who you are, what you are, but I feel like you are confident in that things will work out exactly how they're meant to work out, and that you, for some reason, always win, even when other people might think, well, you know, that didn't work out for you. But I feel like you take the wins with you each and every time, and that is leading to a glow up and a show up. And now I feel like almost like all of your opponents and everything that's been oppositional in your life is actually standing in order to really pay homage to you, almost like an acknowledgement of, wow, you have really tangled with a lot of forces that other people know nothing about. I just saw the number 1212 on camera right now, and you have come out the victor, the winner. Look, pile number 2, how do you inspire others? I mean, how could you not? Pile number 2, you could be a Harry Potter fan. You could be into magic or magic cards. My son had those when he was growing up. You could be into like different type of elixirs, but most of all, pile number 2, I feel like you are the magician. You are the person who really brings down to earth the reality of what magic really is, and you make it into something homegrown and something tangible and something perceptible. And I feel like people are starting to see that you were, above all, a magician. Maybe perhaps people thought that you were a dreamer, or they saw the School of Hard Knocks. And by the way, I resemble that remark, so maybe this is really my pile. But pile number 2, I feel like you are an incredible magician. And I feel like here you have been crowned. It's almost like an elk being crowned in a young body. And so we know that the elks are, you know, older, and they have a lot to teach, and they have really big racks. I can't say that without, like, you know, allowing my inner 12-year-old boy to giggle. That's me. But I'm just going to say that you have an incredible amount of wisdom that is given to you. And it's given to you because you've earned it. It wasn't just like, oh, here, have it. No. Pile number 2, I feel like you listen. When spirit speaks, you listen. You hear it in the rustling of the leaves. You see it in the sign of the times. You hear it and see it on the faces of people and animals and things. And also pile number 2, I feel like you could be somebody who believes in different things like telepathy or the 5D or different realms. Most of all, pile number 2, I feel like people are inspired by you because you have changed your reality and you have changed your life because of your hard work, your effort, and your belief system. And pile number 2, I'm here for it. Here is a round of applause if nobody has said, because I mean, damn, you've been through a lot, okay? So pile number 2, much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi friends, my name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of all the energies in here. So we're going to start off fresh and brand new. Pile number 3, you chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of the screen. Hey girl, just kidding. I really liked the image. When I read the hat, I was kind of a little bit amused, but we're going to see where this goes. So pile number 3, I didn't get a lot of downloads. I am getting a little bit of a player vibe, but we want to see beyond the obvious. So we're just going to go ahead and download your messages. First thing that I'm getting is that you could be very much into matching clothing. You could be like, you have a purse for this outfit, that kind of a thing, or these earrings go with this, or these shoes can only be worn with this kind of a slack or this kind of a dress or whatever. So I feel like you definitely clean up well, one would say. I feel like you inspire other people as well. You inspire others because you are not afraid to be classic, if that's what you're feeling. But I also feel like you could fit into almost any type of genre as far as clothing goes, as far as era goes, and things like that. So you're not afraid to kind of put yourself out there and try different things because you realize that after all, at the end of the day, it's just clothing. But you are definitely about self-expression. So I love this for you. We're going to go ahead and do the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, pile number 1. Thank you so much for stopping by. It is really appreciated. How do you inspire others? Pile number 3. You have divine guidance. You have, go get the baby, Coco. Queen of Ariel. And you have the Page of Ariel. So right off the bat, pile number 3, what is really standing out to me, first of all, these beautiful cards, right? But with the divine guidance, Archangel Sandalphon, I don't know how to say that. Don't hate me. I'm just going to say the search for meaning in life. Consider an alternative approach. Surround yourself with wise teachers or friends. And right off the bat, pile number 3, I definitely feel like you actually could be a guide, like a guidance counselor. I'm getting there's a lot of different things that this can open up to. But one of the things that I really get from that is that you were somebody who was divinely guided, that you didn't necessarily just sit around and wait for other people to tell you this is how it goes. I feel like you allowed spirit to do that. And I feel like this is one thing that maybe all 3 piles really felt like I had in common, or that all 3 had in common. So with the number 5, there's been a lot of fluctuations and changes, but it seems like every time people turn around, all the changes that you're making are like power moves. They're like, how pile number 3, we don't get it. How is it that you decide to move to somewhere totally remote, nobody, and all of a sudden like things connect and things work for you? How all of a sudden you decide that, you know what, you're going to put it out to the universe that you don't have a vehicle, and all of a sudden, lo and behold, somebody has to give one away, or you get one for a song and dance and it's in excellent condition. So people feel really inspired by this, that maybe that you are magnetizing things, and that all the changes and all the moves that you make are divinely guided by spirit, that you're maybe even perhaps you're a little bit like myself. You're like, I don't even know how it's going to work out, but it's going to work out somehow. And it always really does. So the Queen of Ariel right here, pile number 3, we have mature, practical, generous, happy. Nurture yourself and those you love. The ability to make everything more beautiful, practical, and wise advice. Yeah. And so I feel like what I'm hearing in my head was bloom is where you're planted. And it was, oddly enough, an advice I gave a friend who had moved to Portland, Oregon a long time ago. And she was kind of feeling a certain kind of a way about it. And I just told her, you know, let's bloom where you're planted. And she did really, really well for herself, and eventually moved to wherever it was that she felt led to later. But I feel like with you, this is a practical advice, is that, you know, allow spirit to lead you. And it's really hard to say don't second guess, but how you're inspiring other people is that you're making moves, and people think that it is totally strategic, that you're totally a Tetris brain. What they don't really understand is that this is totally spirit-led, and you're going on faith, whatever faith is to you, right? Now, the Page of Ariel right here is quite interesting, because I have reliable, clever, educated, and balanced. An excellent opportunity will be offered to you, scholarships or the pursuit of education. Time to get to work. And we have this figure almost echoing what we see right here with the divine guidance in the number 5. So maybe perhaps right now this is stating that you are going off to college, or you're considering different colleges or different venues for your education. Maybe perhaps this is talking about just the school of life, and that you've really, I can't say that. Sometimes I hear stuff that's totally inappropriate in my brain. And I'm like, can I say it? I shouldn't say it, but I probably will say it. So maybe it's a little bit like grabbing life by the BALLS is what I heard. And really going for what inspires you, what gives you pleasure, what gives you joy. Now, I feel like pile number 3, you guys are not only divinely guided, but I feel like you are led, that you have access to maybe even the Akashic records, that you could really be inspired by art, by old school art, like the real art, that you could be inspired by cathedrals as well. And something about you and something about that serves to inspire other people. Now, I feel like these walls are all lit. And these books are right here. And I mean, she's happy as a clam. So there is no worry here. And I feel like pile number 3, you could be somebody who is really in touch with spirit. Very, very schooled, very learned, very scholarly. But how you inspire others is that if you don't know, you're going to jump on in. Like 10 toes in, deep dive, and we're going to figure it out. Like you have that confidence that whatever you don't know, automatically you can learn via Google, or buying books, or going to the book store, or going to the local library. But you have this uncanny ability to really unearth ways to do things and information that is really incredibly helpful for not just yourself, but for other people. I feel like you lead people down the road, or a template that they could be like, hey, I could be savvy too. I could teach myself how to do this as well. And I love that for you. And again, something about beauty, something about like paintings, maybe you like painting, maybe you like different art, maybe like going to different museums and things like that. But bottom line is that you are a learner, lifelong learner. That was hard to say. Pile number 3, you have the Strength card. We're going to get in closer because we can. Look at how beautiful these cards are. And then we have the Nine of Swords right here. So pile number 3, I'm going to say that how you inspire other people is that maybe you've been really open about your anxieties. Maybe you've been open about the fact that, like, gee, I don't know how it's all going to pan out. I don't know how it's all going to work out, but I'm here. And it's like when they're doing roll call, you're like, okay, I'm here. You know, you don't make yourself scarce. You make yourself well-known and present. And with the Nine of Swords, this could definitely be that maybe perhaps you've had a problem with like sleeping, sleep apnea, or just restless sleep. Or Nine of Swords also could be like having negative self-talk and things like that. But pile number 3, I definitely feel like you have really conquered this. You have learned that through inner strength and strategy, you're able to conquer this. Maybe you're utilizing some magnesium. Maybe you're putting magnesium on your feet, and that is really helping with your sleep and your natural body's biorhythm. I don't know. But whatever it is that you have recently turned onto, I feel like people are really feeling inspired by that they too can conquer their anxieties, that they don't have to be led by it, but also that they can find strength in really going after their own anxieties and figuring out what it is that's bothering me. Whether you get professional help, I'm all for therapy, absolutely. Whether you get spiritual help, whatever it is, I feel like you've confronted it head first, I should say. And I'm feeling like it's very inspiring because you are very strong. Like, your strength is known. You are known for your strength. And yet I feel like you don't feel like you're strong. Like, she doesn't look like she can bench press like 450 pounds, right? But she can certainly confront this lion, this lion right here with its big paws and big claws. And I feel like in a lot of ways, this is addressing you. It's facing your fears. And that's another way that you're inspiring people, is that you have learned how to face your fears. And maybe perhaps confronting your fears gave you the courage to really conquer it. And hereby, you have been able to really share with other people that, hey, you've had really debilitating fears as well. That once upon a time, you were stuck in the, fight, freeze, flight. Well, I can't say that other word, but anyways, yeah, all the F's. Pile number 3, this is like wild, but I'm now seeing like this is almost like a keyhole. So pile number 3, how you're inspiring people is that you realize, maybe in retrospect, that all of your fears really were designed in a way to give you strength, that you had to go through that door and really explore what it is that you were fearing or what was causing you a lot of angst, and you had to conquer that. And I feel like because you did this, you were able to tame yourself, your own knee-jerk reaction, your own really desire to like fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? Any of those. And I feel like now you have overcome that and you've obtained a level of self-mastery that's really admirable to other people. And I feel like you don't do this and you're like, whoa, I conquered this. Like, you're not all loud and proud about it. But I definitely feel like you shared it with a few people. But I feel like regardless of how vocal you've been about it, something is very different about you. I feel like you are no longer like overtaken and paralyzed by fear. You're not into the fight mode either necessarily. I feel like you can make a logical assessment and know that you have that inner strength, that inner power to deal with whatever it is that comes your way. And I'm looking at this, and this looks to me like a female, like up in smoke, right? And so this could be having, I don't know, even psychic attacks from other people and so on. And, you know, people do that. They have not so good intentions, you guys. So I'm sure that if you're in the spiritual community, you're aware of that as well. It is a real thing. But I feel like you've learned how to ward those things off, that you are divinely protected, that you have been protected all along. And this is the key. The key to your strength is to go through the fear and not avoid it or run from it. That you have to kind of face it headlong and make decisions that really fall in line with what it is that you believe in. And this has served to really inspire the people around you. I feel like you've gained a reputation, not that we're here just for how we look or our reputations or whatever, but I feel like you've gained an incredible reputation, one of hardiness, of strength, in spite of like how you look physically. And there's no shade on that. I'm just saying that this girl looks like a slip of a girl, right, in both instances, and yet they're insurmountable challenges or potential obstacles, and you've been able to overcome them. Again, pile number 3, I definitely read for energy, for people, for human beings, not human doings. So whether you're male, female, it doesn't make a difference to me. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Pile number 3, if you're liking these kind of readings, do give me a like, share, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to turn on your notification bell if you hope to see further readings. Whenever I drop them, you'll be notified, or any creator as well. Pile number 3, you have the 2 of Cups and the 2 of Pentacles. Oh, the 3 of Cups, yay. Okay, so I'm all listen here. Pile number 3, I just want to tell you that I noticed that with my algorithm, I was checking the age bracket and so on and so forth. And I was looking at the demographics, and it seems like I have a little bit of a younger crowd than I did with my other channel. And I think that's awesome. Like, I really embrace both sides of it. But one thing that I'm going to tell you, if you happen to be on the younger side, it doesn't make a difference. If you're going through this like high school angst and all this anxiety, I really could relate. I feel like I carried that well into my 40s. Believe it or not, that was me. But with the 3 of Cups right here, I feel like what is really inspiring about you that inspires others, how do you inspire other people? In other words, is that you learn how to celebrate, that you are drawing in by your mere light people that really resonate with you, that you're drawing in, people that can celebrate with you, that are basically of the same cloth as you. And with the 2 of Pentacles right here, that you can juggle, that you have the ability to pivot and also to do 2 different things that are of equal importance, and you can balance those things out in a powerful way. Now, this is like a superpower, I'm being told, of yours. So some of you guys are really into like a balancing act, whether it's balancing school and home life and other things. Now, pile number 3, I've never been able to balance all things well. I'm an all or nothing. I'm an extremist. But I feel like you have found some sort of a balance or something about your balance. Maybe you're like a gymnast and it's like you can physically balance, or maybe you can actually physically juggle things. But whatever your talents and your gifts are, I feel like even though you see them in the 3D, they really are telling about you in the 5D. So if you can like juggle things, this is telling me spiritually in the 5D that you're able to really overcome a lot of obstacles, that you're able to handle a lot of different situations and receive a glow up, and that you have a mastery about you that is reflected in the 3D world. And that's why you pick up things naturally, whereas the rest of us sometimes struggle. Or simply we have to practice more than you do. But pile number 3 also, I'm looking at the reflection right here. And in this instance, I feel like you have the ability to look at your own reflection. And you do it deeply, and you do it quickly, and you make assessments, and you pivot and make changes accordingly. I feel like you're not one to kind of lollygag. You probably make moves pretty fast. With the Page of Ariel, that's quick. The Queen of Ariel, that's a quick one as well. And so you're not one to just kind of like sit on your laurels and kind of contemplate the meaning of life and expect somebody to bring it to you on a platter. No way, no how. But you're definitely somebody who gets your downloads from spirit. You could get downloads like light codes. You could really feel spiritually connected when you're singing, when you're hearing music, perhaps when you are dancing. So something about that could be of relevancy to you. Let's see what else we have for you. Pile number 3. How fun. Oh, you know what? I want to bust out with these. I'm all I want to bust out, like my secret weapon. These cards are so serious, and these do not fit at all, and I'm here for it. Pile number 3, what do we have for thee? How do you inspire others? How do you inspire others? I feel like you're really quick-witted. The Magician, yeah. That's what's up. So pile number 3, you definitely have all the skills. You have a mastery. What do you have right here? Look, we have the Page of Cups right here. How cute. So I feel like you could be a dreamer. You could be somebody who really dreams things and brings them into the 3D, into existence. But I feel like you don't complicate things. I feel like you have a way of doing it that is very streamlined, and you're very comfortable with like what it is that your hands create, or the life that you manifest, or how you go about things. And we love this for you. There seems to be a feeling of like playfulness, but also this is your intuition at play and at work. So this is starting to me look like a little bit of an ice pack, right? For some reason. So I feel like some of you guys are maybe getting headaches and things like that. And I'm not a doctor, but definitely check with your doctor. But also you can increase your water. Make sure you're drinking adequate water, that you are hydrated. And maybe some of you guys are getting headaches. Those also could be downloads from spirit. So make sure that you are getting those, you know, your headaches checked out professionally by a credible and certified doctor. But also just know that these things can come with having downloads. And if you ask Spirit, I'm sure that you will get the answer. We're looking at the fish popping from that little tiny cup. And that fish is like, I am too big for this cup. This tells me that maybe perhaps you have really big dreams, and yet you have the ability to bring it down to earth. And pile number 3, I also feel like you inspire other people, but you want to be careful. Like the topic is, how do you inspire others? And you definitely do. But I want to do a cautionary tale with you, because I feel like not only do you inspire other people, but people could get easily jealous. It's just a feeling that I'm getting. All of a sudden I have this like feeling of like other people feeling like, well, you had it easy growing up, or school was always easy for you, or whatever the complaint is. And really, honestly, who cares? Just make sure to keep your dukes up. I'll give them the 1-2. I saw that in my brain. I don't know what, but maybe you're a little bit feisty too. But I'm just going to say, keep your head up. Yeah, because you could have people obsess over you, and people that want to chain and collar your gifts and your talents, people that want to really control and manipulate these skills that you have. So you want to be aware of that. And unfortunately, this can come in many different faces, in friends, in family, in lovers, in parents, whatever. So you want to just be aware of that. You know, but everything else looks really good. I do feel like you have an ascension coming, and that you have ascended. I feel like some of you guys are experimenting with astral projection, and maybe meditation and hypnosis. And by the way, that's how I started when I was a teen as well. And it kind of freaked people out. So if that's you, hey, me too. So that is what I have for you. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste.